I promised we would be quick. And here we are back. Thank you for joining us to this session of Learning with UCLG. Throughout the week, we have been trying to open up our windows to have you with us at home. We have tried to make an environment that has made you feel all the hacks that we want to give you, even if you cannot be with us. And we are, to close the week, we are proposing to you that you learn with UCLG. We are much stronger together, and our power is the one that we need to implement learning, researching, and advocating. So thank you, colleagues, for joining us back, and thank you, learning team, for making it to this late Friday afternoon. Welcome. We are in your hands. Sarah.
Thank you so much, Emilia, and thank you all out there. I see a lot of people, a lot of known faces from very different angles. We have met in conferences, we have met in the office, we have met in regional section, but also we have met you in trainings, because many of the people today here are actually our trainers. So I think during the retreat, it was a full week, but it was very rich for us as UCLG team, and I think I speak on behalf of all the colleagues. It was so exciting to feel the sections, to feel the enthusiasm, to feel the concern, to feel how connected we are, how we much need each other. So this, of course, is for us a mandate, because as you know, learning is one of the areas of UCLG is a very practical area where we hope that policy messages, advocacy can really create impact in the many, many territories, in the many, many communities, in the many cities, and in the many villages that call themselves our members. So for us, it's really nice to be here today. I just recall very briefly what learning is about. You can say the golden three. Our strategy is based actually on 3 pillars. So the first one is peer-to-peer learning. This is very important. Maybe this year it was very, very difficult for us to continue, but we made the shift. We brought peer learning virtual, and we also were able to read many, many lessons and to understand how important is actually the methodology for practice if we want them to be implemented. So the other pillar is the learning forum. This forum, as Emilia said, this was an idea actually she pushed very much for this forum, because the forum is the ground. It is like a small community in the big UCLG community where we touch each other's ideas. We look what you are doing. We try to promote. We try really to co-create, and also to filter a little bit what is relevant and what is urgent. So this learning community, the main work of this community is the training of trainers and localizing the global agendas. So we will now, after a short exercise with you, go into this. And the other part, which is new to you, and we will show you a little bit more of insight. It was announced in the first day of our retreat by Fernando, our e-learning platform, and many of you we have seen already have looked into our courses and mocks and mini mocks, and what is all this you will know hopefully after this session, and we hope you step into, because many of you and many of our members, many of the sections are doing really great work, and sometimes it's really only the last step or the last mile to make all this work and all this knowledge accessible easy to understand, and also an important element to bring new members and practitioners of the global community of municipalities to us. So I say this, I would like to ask my colleague Juan Carlos to guide us through a small exercise of Mentimeter. Juan Carlos.
Muchas gracias, Sara. Y sí, bueno, como todos ustedes saben, nos gusta interactuar con ustedes, así sea de manera virtual. Así que los invitamos a entrar a menti.com y usar el código 6098619 para explorar un poco qué es aprendizaje con CGLU. Y la primera pregunta que les tenemos es aprendizaje de por sí. ¿Qué es para ustedes en una palabra aprendizaje? ¿Qué se les ocurre cuando piensan en aprendizaje en general? Les recordamos el código, este es 6098619 en menti.com. Compartir, desarrollo personal, conocimiento, enriquecedor. Abrir la mente. Ciertamente, explorar cosas, perspectivas nuevas.
And fun.
Divertido. Algo que
fun.
es muy importante para nosotros y que esperemos que lo entiendan y se les transmita.
Improvement.
Capacity building. Purpose in life. Self-development. Es mucho más allá de conocimiento. Creo que es algo importante. Y la primera palabra que salió fue compartir, que creo que es algo que veremos mucho durante esta sesión. Vamos ahora a la segunda pregunta, que es, en realidad, cuando pensamos en aprender con CGLU o aprender dentro de CGLU, aquí escogimos algunas opciones de lo que creemos que ustedes buscan aprendiendo en CGLU y les queremos preguntar que escojan las 3 más relevantes. Y si hay otras, que usen el chat y nos digan, cuando piensan en aprender con CGLU, ¿qué es lo que buscan? Aprender de agendas globales y su relevancia a nivel local es algo que venimos hablando a lo largo del retiro. Las herramientas de facilitación, sobre todo ahora en un mundo digital, es algo que hemos visto que muchos de nuestros formadores quieren aprender. El análisis de buenas prácticas, la cooperación descentralizada, algo que exploraremos más en la sesión de hoy.
Está muy igualado, ¿eh?
Y sí, creo que está muy igualado, así que nos gusta y nos gustaría mucho escuchar sus propuestas e ideas sobre otras cosas que no tenemos en la mente nosotros. Vamos a la tercera.
Bueno, hay pocas cosas que no tenemos en mente, de acuerdo a los que han participado.
Y bueno, esta es una pregunta sobre este último año y es cómo el aprendizaje dentro de su red o en nuestra red ha cambiado. Y creo que esto, bueno, lo vamos a dejar abierto para que nos digan. Creo que personalmente para nosotros explorar herramientas de cómo mantener la interacción abierta, algo divertido, herramientas que vayan más allá de esta relación entre pantallas y que nos haga pensar, analizar, jugar en este espacio virtual. Es algo que venimos explorando y que espero que muchos de los que nos han acompañado en las diferentes capacitaciones hayan visto. Creo que virtual es una de las cosas que va a aparecer más acá. Casos prácticos.
I like faster. Because everything has become faster. The exchange is faster, right? I mean, it has been a speed up of things.
Ciertamente, sí.
Yeah.
O sea, creo que sobre todo al principio, cuando recogimos todas las prácticas de todas las diferentes ciudades, fue algo que salió muy rápido y que todas las ciudades estaban compartiendo. También algo que personalmente creo es que nos ha permitido descubrir más allá de nuestra red central y de nuestros contactos centrales y llegar más allá a través de la digitalización a lugares más remotos. Y creo que eso lo queremos explorar durante esta sesión al final.
There's also a point on more solidarity, very interesting. So that was an effort, and I think the whole retreat, the effort of the retreat and this format is a little bit about this, so very nice to see this.
Y sí, bueno, el último que también, more networking and engagement. Creo que también eso es algo que queremos mantener, así sea virtual o físicamente, en los próximos meses y años. Muchas gracias por participar en este ejercicio que nos abre a esta sesión de qué es aprendizaje sobre CGLU. Y ahora los dejo con Sara para la primera parte de nuestra sesión. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Juan Carlos. Y como veo aquí que todos ustedes tienen la cámara encendido, qué bonito. También, por favor, recuerdan que en el equipo de aprendizaje, el Learning Team, somos más. Está Juan Carlos, que él es muy skilled, es muy listo en todas las metodologías nuevas, pero su tema principal es resiliencia. Tenemos Fernando, que él ya presentará su tema. María Fernanda, que María Alejandra, perdón, que es nueva en el equipo y que va a trabajar con nosotros el módulo 4, que ahora haremos un pequeño punto sobre esto, de localización de SDG y cooperación descentralizada. Tenemos una stagiaire que ha acompañado todo el retiro, Julia Monroe, y también un secondment de Seoul, Jung Yoon. Así que el equipo es más grande de lo que ven aquí, pero como siempre decimos, no ese es el equipo son todos ustedes y solamente así vamos a poder hacer. Entonces, el primer punto, el pequeño bloque que queríamos ahora referirnos es los módulos. Los módulos es una particular historia que hicimos un primer módulo y fue interesante porque el equipo de research empujó mucho que hiciésemos esta parte un poco más, un training sobre localización. Y poco a poco desarrollamos eso y hemos visto que ha encajado gracias a todas las experiencias que hemos recogido de antemano. Entonces, los módulos, como dice el nombre, es un formato de aprendizaje, pero es un aprendizaje abierto. No es el clásico conocimiento de alguna información que tiene que entrar a sus cabezas. La idea del aprendizaje es, como ya venimos hace muchos años trabajando, trabajar sobre la experiencia, porque cada adulto, y eso no solo soy yo, todos los que trabajan en lifelong learning lo saben, entre más es conectado con mi emoción, con mi trabajo, con mis desafíos, mejor aprendo. Entonces, ahora tenemos una pequeña recuerdo y también un look forward de lo que han sido los módulos ODS. Tenemos 3 módulos, como ustedes recuerdan. El primero, introducción; segundo, planificación; tercero, monitoreo. Tenemos el número 4 que fue anunciado esta mañana por Sarah de plataforma y que la próxima semana les vemos todos, esperamos, para que escuchen ese lanzamiento. Y también creo que es importante recordar que tenemos un módulo muy, muy especial que no tiene nombre sino online, pero realmente eso es un curso que hacemos ya por 2 años con la Diputación de Barcelona, que es la localización de los ODS en un formato online, con en total 250 facilitadores formados por el equipo. Entonces, esto es un tesoro porque esos facilitadores no son cualquier persona, son personas que trabajan en municipio, que mueven agendas, y aquí tenemos una persona de estas con nosotros. Entonces, primero quisiéramos dar la palabra a Mercedes. Mercedes trabaja con la Federación Española de Municipio. Creo que no requiere más introducción. Mercedes, nos gustaría mucho que tú nos des un pequeño feedback. ¿Cómo ves el aprendizaje? ¿Qué debería hacer CGLU o para que ayude a la localización y crear impacto en tus miembros? ¿Y qué rol tiene el aprendizaje? Mercedes, por favor.
Sí. Muchas gracias, Sara. Y bueno, aprovecho un segundo para felicitar y daros las gracias por toda esta semana, ¿no?, en la que hemos aprendido mucho, y me parece estupendo que la finalicemos con una sesión sobre aprendizaje, porque es lo que llevamos haciendo toda la semana. A ver, para nosotros los módulos, y además hemos participado en todos los módulos y en todos los trainings que habéis hecho, creo que no solamente nos ayudan a nosotros como, ¿no? Trabajadores, miembros de la federación, sino que nos hemos convertido, gracias a esa formación y a esos módulos, también a una cadena de transmisión hacia nuestros asociados, ¿no? Veo en la pantalla que hay asociados nuestros y yo creo que ellos son plenamente conscientes de ello. Lo que permiten los módulos es realmente descender y localizar desde CGLU hacia cada uno de los ayuntamientos, diputaciones, gobiernos locales de las distintas asociaciones. Ese ha sido nuestro caso. Nosotros los módulos de localización de los ODS los incorporamos a nuestra formación propia, marcada en nuestra estrategia de formación de la casa a cargos electos y técnicos de la federación. Y bueno, ha sido todo un éxito. Entonces, por tanto, creo que el aprendizaje es básico porque también elaborados desde una visión global nos ha hecho aterrizar y acercar, ¿no? a los técnicos municipales lo que significa localizar los ODS desde la experiencia, ¿no? Y además creo que cuando podía ser presencial estaba muy basado en el intercambio y en la practicidad, ¿no? Con lo que eso también ayuda el hecho de transmitir, ¿no? toda esta información. El impacto yo creo que lo tenéis porque todo el mundo quiere utilizar los módulos de CGLU para sus propias formaciones, con lo que yo creo que el impacto está ahí y está mostrado. Y terminar porque es muy tarde y creo que tienen que hablar más personas. Yo os invito, ¿no? al resto veo que hay 136 personas conectadas, os invito a aquellos que no lo hayáis utilizado que forméis parte, ¿no? de estos cursos de formación, de estos training, porque no solamente es formación, decíais, aprendemos y aprendemos también nuestras debilidades. Y el último, esto sí que son los 30 segundos, antes que Emilia me saque la mano, es el último, ¿no? El de resiliencia. Yo participé hace, creo, ya no sé, porque esta semana ha sido muy intensa, creo que fue la semana pasada. Aprendimos mucho con las nuevas tecnologías, ¿no? Y yo creo que eso CGLU lo habéis incorporado muy bien, esa otra forma de comunicar a través de esta pantalla. Y eso para nosotros, para mí, que trabajo en la federación, es algo que ya me llevo como aprendizaje para incorporar en nuestra propia estrategia de formación y trasladárselo a mis compañeros, ¿no? Por tanto, no puedo decir más que el impacto existe, que somos cadena de transmisión de la formación y que nos viene muy bien deslocalizar esa formación hacia el territorio. Y felicidades a todos vosotros. Y gracias por contar conmigo.
Muchas gracias, Mercedes. Definitivamente el aprendizaje y el tema de los módulos, donde más nos esforzamos y más demoramos porque probamos y probamos, es la parte lúdica. Y eso es precisamente cuando hablamos de educación, tenemos que recordar que todos somos niños, todos somos seres humanos, y jugando se aprende muchísimo y más cuando se hace en grupo. Entonces, aquí tenemos también un ejemplo de Latinoamérica, David Santiago con nosotros. David, ¿cómo ha sido tu experiencia y qué estás haciendo también? ¿Qué significa tu ciudad en CGLU, no solamente en aprendizaje?
Hola. Bueno, primero que nada, un saludo a todos los colegas presentes. Muchas gracias por la invitación a participar en este foro. Felicitar estos espacios para los entrenadores de CGLU, somos varios. Realmente una de las cosas más importantes del formar en localización de ODS es que también podemos generar sinergias y articulación con más redes municipalistas, ¿no? No solamente el tema del aprendizaje está en metodologías de formación, sino también en las redes que nosotros podemos generar, ¿no? E integrar a diversos actores dentro de este proceso formativo. Pues yo soy un formador de CGLU desde que estuve en Quito, en la municipalidad de Quito, en el periodo de Hábitat 3, donde abrimos un proceso de formación para distintos grupos de funcionarios municipales basados en el módulo número 1 de introducción a la localización de ODS. Y fue una experiencia bastante interesante porque justamente recalcar lo que decía Sara al inicio, ¿no? Que la parte lúdica, la parte digamos, de contacto con la gente es muy importante en estos procesos de aprendizaje, y las herramientas que he presentado Learning CGLU van en esa línea, ¿no? Hay varios juegos de roles, juegos de memoria, que digamos en un formato presencial del entrenamiento es súper importante. Y pues bueno, ahora yo estoy, digamos, en otro proceso de formación en otra ciudad de mi país, en la ciudad de Cuenca, una ciudad intermedia. Como, bueno, no todos conocerán, pero una de las conferencias preparatorias de Hábitat 3 se llevó a cabo aquí en Cuenca, donde se emitió la declaración de Cuenca acerca de el rol que juegan las ciudades intermedias en el desarrollo sostenible y en la discusión de la nueva agenda urbana. Dentro de ese proceso, pues obviamente nosotros hemos visto que la formación en la localización de los ODS, usando estas herramientas que nos provee SGLU, nos sirve a nosotros como estrategia incluso de la cooperación descentralizada, ¿no? De los programas de cooperación, y como les decía, ¿no? Que la formación no solamente integre actores locales dentro del proceso de localizar, sino también crear alianzas con redes municipalistas, ¿no? Bueno, me acabó el tiempo, pero espero haberles respondido algunas preguntas acerca de mi experiencia. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, David, por esta reflexión desde Cuenca, que definitivamente es una ciudad importante, un líder en CGLU, y no solamente el alcalde, sino hay 4.000, por ejemplo, en Cuenca creo que entrenan 1.000 personas, líderes comunitarios, en lo que es la localización. Entonces, eso obviamente hace que toda la ciudad vibra las ODS y probablemente más agendas. Bueno, para ahora, antes de ir a la e-platform, quisiera pedir, I will switch to English. I would like to invite two of my co-fellows, very known. You already have seen them both in the retreat. So we have Jessie Post from the CIB Capacity Building Working Group with us. Jessie, maybe just very shortly about learning and the work of association. You saw now for association, capacity building and learning and training is becoming more important. So how can we connect, or how do we connect, and what is your view for next year?
Thank you, Sarah. Glad to be speaking with you, even though it's already almost Friday evening and weekend. I speak to you on behalf of the Capacity and Institution Building Working Group, one of the working groups of UCLG. It's a network of practitioners who work on local government development cooperation programs. So programs where capacity building and institution building stand central. And it's aimed at increasing development effectiveness through collaboration and coordination and learning together. So a true peer community, and therefore also very aligned to the UCLG learning team. So we work together already in a variety of themes. Association capacity building is indeed one of the core topics because many of the members are associations of local governments, and they work with associations of local governments in their programs in other countries in the world. Topics which have gained interest of our members for these programs in the past years are notably gender equality at local level and how to better integrate this in the work we do, access to finance, working on the SDGs, of course, in the ongoing programs, and more generally, how to monitor, evaluate, and learn through our programs in view of further improvement. Two remarks which I wanted to share here today with you is that Well, Sarah and her team and CIB have talked about this already in other occasions too. I believe that the CIB network is potentially also a network of people who can train others. For the moment, we haven't really tapped into that potential, but it's something we could perhaps explore in the well, next year or years. And a very different remark, which I do want to place, I don't know if this is the space, but one challenge we see in the CIB network is that we produce a lot of modules and products and other materials, or co-produce them, but that we always use very similar case studies. And well, I have a question to this community of how we move on beyond the usual suspects and really come to the innovative ideas. So that's a learning question I have. Thank you, Sarah.
And we take these questions up in the 2 points to come in. But first, Najat, you are in Rabat. You have a huge community of followers in your ALGA. Please, Najat, let us know what is a little bit your thinking and the way ahead also for co-creating and connecting in the UCLG network.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Good evening or good morning or good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be with you representing UCLG Africa Academy ALGA. I think, as you mentioned, our noble mission and mandate is to empower the human capital at local and regional level and community level to allow them to become the superpower, as Emilia used to say. And for this, we need to rely on a very diverse methodology. We need to rely on partners. We need to rely on a cohort of trainers, and to take into account the context, the funding, the resources we have, the tools we have, and here the importance of co-creating and co-constructing between UCLG at the headquarters of at global level and also at regional level. So today, and this is one of the lessons learned from the COVID-19, we try to go hybrid and giving the majority of our efforts to the digital. For this, since last year, we have now our also, and it's online with your vision, an e-learning platform within UCLG Africa, and we will ask for your help to support us to identify expertise tools to avoid reinventing the wheel. If there is any good experience existing within the regional section, we are keen to contact them and to work with them hand in hand as a family, because this is the DNA of our family, is to support each other, to assist each other, and to help and share and care. The second challenge is to maintain this cohort of trainers, and this is a matter of motivation also. And I would like to suggest to Emilia why we cannot wonder to create a global cohort of volunteers. We have so many elected officials around the world, so many former territorial managers, experts, professors, lecturers. We can make a call and we can rely on this voluntary power to help and empower our members and our national association, whether in Africa or in the other regions. So to conclude, really we are very happy to work hand in hand with the team of Sarah and with CIB and all this, the regional section of UCLG, we use your methodology, we try to adapt it, and the next step, I guess, is this new module 4 on decentralized cooperation. With my colleague Charles, we make sure to disseminate this new achievement and to continue our wonderful journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nayat. And I think some of your points we will take now on board when we talk about e-learning. Maybe to close this insight on our learning modules. Also in resilience, we have 1+1 because we have one module many of you have already tested. It's really nice and it's very up to time because everybody talks on about resilience. And actually, we have found a lot of initiative and a lot of action through this learning being motivated. And the second module will be for cities. So we are very happy to work also maybe with the Global Task Force on these modules because it is really timely and we do all this work together with the United Nations. So in the SDG stream, we have a partner, UNDP Art, and UN Habitat, and in the resilience modules, UN Habitat and UNDRR, that is of course also pushing to go to scale. So you will hear from this. But now let's take the time to look a little bit into the e-learning. This came up several times. How do we connect better? We have seen diversity of fields. Everybody has interest in everything. So not the methodology of modules or that frame because they have an agenda behind is not interesting for everything. But we have seen that with the e-learning and the online learning, and in particular the MOOC, we can address all the fields local government find relevant. And my colleague Fernando will guide you through this segment. Fernando.
Muchísimas gracias, Sara. Un gusto estar con ustedes acá, viendo tantos amigos. Antes de empezar la parte acerca de la plataforma, me gustaría también comentar un último punto acerca de la facilitación de facilitadores, ¿no? Que David ha mencionado, pero es que es la parte de la certificación común que estamos haciendo ya con los cursos en línea, pero es muy importante también que nosotros en esta multiplicación de entrenadores pensemos en cómo continuar trabajando juntos después de la segunda multiplicación de entrenadores, ¿no? Porque ahí creamos realmente una red que puede ayudarse y puede crecer junto. Bueno, entonces, empezando la parte acerca de la plataforma Learning with UCLG, ¿no? Voy a explicar más o menos cómo funciona muy rápidamente en 2 minutos acá, o qué es, cómo funciona, para partirmos para 2 ejemplos concretos de procesos que están en marcha ahora, ¿no? Entonces, básicamente la plataforma, ella permite formatear y hospedar, ¿no? Los cursos masivos que no tienen límite de participantes, abiertos, que son gratuitos, y en línea, que permiten una experiencia individual, ¿no? Cada uno puede hacer en su ritmo propio, en su orden propia, ¿no? Escoger sus propios contenidos y cursos, ¿no? Entonces, ella también permite anunciar y enlazar otros materiales y actividades de nuestra comunidad de aprendizaje, ¿no? Entonces, ahí también puede pasar por el próximo slide, Ale, por favor. Que también ahí la plataforma permite, por ejemplo, divulgar webinars o actividades, ¿no? Como ha hecho CIB, por ejemplo, el año pasado, como ha hecho Metrópolis esta semana, como los materiales de cultura, ¿no? Entonces, ella es adaptable de acuerdo con el tipo de actividad y de contenido también. ¿Cómo puede funcionar, ¿no? ¿Cómo funcionó este proceso de creación de la plataforma fue a partir de un aprendizaje entre pares, ¿no? En verdad fue a partir del grande proceso de los LLI del año pasado, ¿no? Que fue un proceso muy importante de aprendizaje entre pares acerca de los servicios públicos locales en la pandemia. Y a partir de este rico conocimiento e intercambio generado, nosotros hemos intentado contar esa historia de una manera sencilla con los contenidos explicados en cada tema, ¿no? Y ahí ofrecer también quizzes y ejercicios para el conocimiento y un survey al final, ¿no? Entonces esa fue nuestra primera experiencia, que es una experiencia que aprovecha ya un aprendizaje entre par ya establecida, ¿no? Entonces nuestra segunda en nuestro segundo caso es este curso, esta serie de mini MOOCs actual, ¿no? Que es un poco nuestro flagship, porque es una serie de cursos también a partir de materiales ya existentes, que son los módulos de formación, ¿no? Y ahí también cuento con la participación, y ahí también podemos ver la participación de nuestros compañeros de policy, de research, en los módulos 1, 2 y 3 también con nosotros, ¿no? Entonces también mostró un poco la integración no solo de los temas, pero también de las personas. Y ahí ahora estamos en una próxima fase extendida ya a la participación y ya en marcha con cursos en línea producidos por las comisiones o observatorios nuestros, ¿no? Entonces acá tenemos, y ahí voy a pedir para, infelizmente, ser muy breves, dos casos específicos. Uno del curso en línea que está preparando el Observatorio de Finanzas Locales a partir de sus materiales ya existentes y de su propia plataforma. Entonces, él va a integrar los conocimientos que ahí están, que están siendo generados, con tipos de materiales también nuevos, ¿no? La segunda que voy, y ahí pido a Sergio y a Paloma para en 5 minutos máximo, tal vez 2 minutos cada uno, presentar un poco cómo surgió eso y cómo está yendo el proceso de construcción. Y el segundo caso es el caso de la Comisión de Desarrollo Económico Local, que también va a tener un proceso de construcción de un curso en línea a partir de un curso de un MOOC, a partir de un curso en línea que ellos ya han realizado, ¿no? Entonces, con materiales y con vídeos de este curso en línea ya realizado, que también son ejemplos para inspirar un poco otros actores de nuestra familia de aprendizaje. Entonces, paso la palabra a Sergio y a Paloma. Vous avez 5 minutes, s'il vous plaît. Sergio, merci pour être
Okay.
ici.
Thank you, Fernando. I will be very brief and just and leave Paloma to explain a bit more what it is all about. But just wanted first to congratulate the learning team for this new tool offered. We have a wealth of information, of knowledge available among the membership and the UCLG Secretariat, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us to try and disseminate this knowledge in new ways, no? More appropriate in this virtual world that we're now living. And second, to say that, well, for us, you know, we've been working on this observatory for quite a lot of years in partnership with OECD. We've gathered a lot of information on finances around the world in more than 120 countries, on local finance, local government finance, the challenges faced by local governments on these issues. And I mean, this exercise gives us the opportunity to try and reach out to wider public, and it obliges us also to be more concise and maybe to give, I mean, what is at the core of what the messages we would like to convey, which is not always possible. We have a website, you know, with all the information gathered. It's a bit complex sometimes. I mean, just to simplify this and to reach out to wider audience. Just this I wanted to say, and thank you once again for the opportunity that you've given us. I mean, to be able to share this wealth of knowledge that we've gathered around local government finance. Paloma.
Thank you, Serge, for this introduction. I will just quickly present the MOOC on local finance that we are creating in this same moment. So first of all, the timing was perfect with the launching of this new platform, Learning with UCLG, because we have the first report of the World Observatory was published in 2019, and before the upcoming next publication in 2022, we decided to create this MOOC to share more on the knowledge of local finance, all the findings that we have gathered. But the second simultaneous objective that we have with this MOOC is not only to share the information, the content and the knowledge, but also to share the own source of information that is the World Observatory. And this means that in order to reach these two objectives, these two simultaneous objectives, we have tried to design a particular and innovative MOOC. So first of all, in terms of content, we will cover the most important topics, subnational government revenues, expenditure, and also external financing. But we also want to offer bonus videos with new, less common maybe, or specific tendencies. So these will be very short videos on specific mechanisms related to local finance to cover more topics. Also, we will have each part of the course intercalated with exercises so that the participants can put into practice what they have learned. But the particularity is that the answers to the questions will not only come from the course, but will also be found on the website of the World Observatory. So this will mean that by the end of the course, participants should be able to handle the database of the World Observatory. So we are planning to offer the course in a text format so that participants can read the course, but also listen to it through podcasts or even just see a visual summary in infographics. And we are currently designing it hand in hand with the learning team of UCLG, who has been helping us with their prior experience with the LLE first MOOC. So please let us know if there are other subjects of MOOC that you want for us to create. Thank you.
Thank you, Serge. Thank you, Paloma. Now it was very, very interesting, but we have short time to comment on that, but in the end we can comment more, and we'll pass the floor to Paula to explain a little bit the process of the forum. Please, Paula.
Hello, colleagues. I want to take the opportunity as well to quickly congratulate you for this whole week of fruitful discussions, and thank you for making us feel a little bit closer for some days, even if it was virtually. For the committee and also for FAMSI, training and capacity building activities have become more and more relevant within our actions for a long time ago. So thanks to these e-learning tools, we have been able to incorporate to our work a multiplicity of actors. And this has facilitated training processes and the exchange of knowledge through different formats. In our case, usually through our virtual learning platform, which is called Aula Solidaria, and that offers many possibilities. It is a Moodle platform. And our trainings are usually addressed to local and regional government professionals, both in Andalusia and in our partners and members' country homes. And topics are linked to our working areas, such as local economic development, local competencies, institutional strengthening, SDGs, and many others. They are usually mentored by teachers with both academic and professional profiles, because we try to make it useful for local professionals, for local governments and regional professionals. And we care that part of reality, the exchange or peer learning, that we believe is what the student get, and also their own input, which we believe it's really, really valuable, the learning from each other. We have worked with a variety of formats and methodologies, going from 30 hours online courses to 300-hour certificate programs, combining face-to-face and online classes. And we also find very, very valuable in the training courses developed in partnership with other entities, such as the ones we've carried out with UCLG or UCSI, for example. And the other important point is the collaboration with different universities, because that way we can get the university recognition, and that within that adds value to certain training processes. And now, as Fernando said, we are working on building the MOOC together with the learning team, taking advantage from the products and the feedback we obtained from the online training that we developed at the end of the year. It was called Innovation for Cohesive Territories in frame of recovery, of economic recovery. And it was a guided training in this case. Sorry, in this case, it consisted in 6 units, each one led by an expert on the topic, and we elaborated online materials to be studied from the students in an autonomous way, and also a live session per unit. It was about 2 months long, and I think it was really intense for students, but I believe it provided an interesting space for exchange and knowledge and practice. So now that we already have that experience and some good outputs about what works and some points about what doesn't work as well, we would like to open it into a wider learning activity or alternative to be offered to more members and for an extended period of time. Yesterday, when Emilia spoke on the researching section about the importance of documents talking to each other, I thought as well on this link between learnings. And as Fernando said, I believe it would be very, very rich if we could connect the different learnings from this great network on the learning platform. So as to offer a broader and more diverse learning experience. I'm just finishing. So that's it. It will be something. I think it is something the learning team is already achieving in, and it would be a path of learning for us as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Paula. Ahora, antes de terminar, bueno, yo pido a todos, bueno, tendríamos muchas otras buenas ideas acá que están surgiendo, por ejemplo, la Comisión de Inclusión Social, Democracia Participativa, los cursos de accesibilidad y otros, ¿no? Que están también surgiendo en el chat. Yo propongo que si ustedes tienen ideas o demandas o otras dudas que puedan escribir en el chat durante la sesión, que podemos entrar en contacto. Y para concluir, yo pienso que yo tengo una metáfora que rara, pero que la plataforma de aprendizaje nuestra no es como un restaurante que tienen 2 opciones, ¿no? Que se puede escoger una u otra y tiene platos grandes, ¿no? Es como un restaurante vietnamita, por ejemplo, que tú tienes muchísimas opciones de platos pequeños y tú puedes elegir tu propio menú. Entonces, nuestra plataforma es un poco eso, ¿no? Estamos creando cada vez más cursos y opciones que son muchas veces muy, muy, muy cortas, pero sí, pero ofrecen al consumidor, a la persona que va a usufruir la plataforma, que puede escoger su propio menú dependiendo de las opciones, los intereses, las posibilidades. Entonces pido a todos que escriban ahí sus propios platos, que vamos pensando en el menú conjuntamente. Muchísimas gracias.
Yeah, that's already happening. I think people write a lot in the chat. We take note, and we are also there for you, so you can write us anytime. Just before going to the next part, and you all have many ideas, please share in the chat. If we have time, we do a round in the end of the session. Maybe now, just to have a little bit of political view, Carlos está con nosotros y ha levantado la mano, no queremos dejar pasar. Por favor, Carlos.
Bueno, buenas tardes de nuevo y desde la Resistencia, ¿no? Que sigue aquí a pie del cañón en los últimos minutos después de toda una semana larga, ¿no? Y viernes a última hora y antes incluso de que Emilia y todo el equipo nos vuelvan a mandar ya el recordatorio de la sesión que tenemos este próximo lunes. Única y exclusivamente ya no para trasladar una visión política, ¿no? Sino para trasladar un agradecimiento y una felicitación, ¿no? Agradecimiento y felicitación a todo el equipo de CGLU por esta semana intensísima de trabajo que nos ha hecho aportar y recibir, ¿no? Muchísimas ideas, muchísimas reflexiones, muchísimos planteamientos, ojalá para los territorios más necesitados, ¿no? Y para las personas que mayores desequilibrios y desigualdad tienen en todo el planeta, que no son pocas, ¿no? Dentro de Europa, fuera de Europa, en África y en todas las regiones a nivel internacional, sin olvidarme nunca de Latinoamérica. Y en segundo lugar, ¿no? Que creo que es merecido también, ¿no? Hoy han pasado en esta semana muchísima gente, ¿no? Aportando lo suyo, ¿no? Y tenemos también que acordarnos de los que se suman y han asumido otros cargos de responsabilidad, como antes ha dicho Emilia, ¿no? Y aquí tenemos a alguien que ha compartido durante los últimos 15 años mucho trabajo con nosotros y que ha formado y forma parte del equipo ahora con otra diferente responsabilidad, que es la anterior responsable de la Dirección Internacional de la Federación de Municipios, que a pesar de haber asumido ahora mismo otro reto importante, sigue a pie de cañón y está por aquí con todos nosotros, a la que le agradezco todo el trabajo que ha hecho durante los últimos retiros y todo lo que hemos aprendido de ella, ¿no? Poco más, Emilia. Muchísimas gracias, de verdad, por todo el trabajo y trasládaselo, por favor, a todos y cada uno de los integrantes del equipo. Gracias, como siempre, y nos vemos pronto.
Muchas gracias. Y definitivamente María Alejandra trae un enorme conocimiento del territorio.
Y Juana López, que está con nosotros.
Que está ahora cerca. Ahí está ahí, Juana, qué lindo, una de las primeras que venía. I think she is really, in her heart, she is a trainer. And so great teacher, Juana, but you are a multitasker, so good luck in your new job from all of us.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, now please don't forget what you want to say, but let's go now to the next segment, which will be moderated by my colleague Juan Carlos.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So yes, like today we've talked about our training of trainers and our modules and kind of how to facilitate training within a network and to reach farther. We talked about this new tool, learning with UCLG, online learning that we can do at our own pace. But in both of them, the issue of peer learning, which is at the heart of learning with UCLG, came up. And I think we all miss, meeting each other, visiting a city and learning from their projects. And I think we've also learned how digital platforms kind of brings us closer, and we don't necessarily need to visit somewhere to learn from what they are doing, from the lessons from their projects, their policies. So I think there's a wide future of possibilities for peer learning within UCLG. And we wanted to kind of dedicate this last space to that. It's also a discussion that we've been having since Durban, where we were talking, how can we bring the knowledge that is already collected in the different platforms, observatories, all of the good practices, the awards, the One You Award, Culture, Peace, that bring up the practices from our members, from the local and regional governments all around the world. And how can we build on that, those experiences, and make more learning opportunities on that? The local for action hubs are definitely one of the efforts that we're trying to push and invite you all to join us on that. But then within the learning local for action hubs and around the different platforms and awards, how can we utilize peer learning to foster that implementation, looking into the next 10 years of the global agendas? For that, I would like to welcome Helmi from ASPAC, who I know it's midnight over there, but has been joining us, like many other members that are very close to the learning team in the Asia Pacific region, to tell us a little bit about how do you see the future of peer learning and how can we better utilize those good practices that we already, through the different observatories, are analyzing and documenting. Helmi.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone here. Representing UCLG ASPAC, I'm going to share my knowledge regarding the experience and for the future learning. Congratulations once again for the learning team and Sarah and team. And I remember that when I was joining the first peer learning in Jakarta, like in 2017. So the methodology was very, very interactive. And also I believe that since that past year, the learnings has been growing then with the new methodology. And then we know that using new platforms, and nowadays we use new digitals with the Zooms and others exercise or games tools, so it will be much more interesting. And for me, I think in the future we can also not only just like do as usual as an exercise and using this kind of platform, but also we can have an elaboration more with some partners in the regions. And also as I mentioned earlier, that in the previous that local government association has so many resources for that. And for example, in Asia Pacific, we have very active local government associations and network. So I believe that you have a platform and you have also the methodology, good methodology for that. I believe that in the future we can utilize, and then we can also adopt more familiar with the some case studies in the region, I think. And based on the experience from the previous peer learning that we have in Surabaya in 2018, I think the peer learning node was also very very helpful for cities who experience the major disaster, and to build their resiliency. That's some they need more knowledge and also sharing platform, since we want to have a better plannings and better idea and also recommendations, because of I think those recommendations can be specifics more on the practicals and also recommendation. I think that's the thing that Sarah, I think I want to raise. Those recommendations should be more applicable. And then I think also with using you have a lot of platform already, and then I just heard about the MOOC, and it will be more interesting. I saw that all the exercise that you have developed also is based on the new updated platform and these kind of things. And looking forward for me from UCLG ASPAC, and also in the next month, I think in March, we will have one peer learning workshop. And for in May, I think there will be also, we'll test the module for Palu because of, we have a program with GOV, and together we will use this kind of opportunity to test in the region. Thank you.
Yeah, like I think two things that are very important in what you mentioned is the role that local government associations that are strengthening can play on facilitating peer learning between associations as well as within. And I think something interesting that you mentioned on peer learning notes is how when we bring people together, there's new insights on the practices, and there's new lessons that maybe when you analyze it by yourself don't come out. So I think that's something that we can build on as we look forward on virtual or physical peer learnings. Now I would like to invite Alicia Valbo from the German Association of Cities. My last physical peer learning was with you in Niteroi on climate resilience. And even since then, we've been kind of working together, doing some peer learnings between associations and following up on that climate resilient workshop in Latin America. And you have also been exploring new methodologies. So how do you see this new hybrid reality of peer learning and what insights do you have to share with us? Ali.
Thanks, Juan Carlos. Hi, everyone, and nice to see a lot of familiar faces, and thanks for being here still for this learning session. So from the perspective of the German Association of Cities, peer-to-peer learning is indeed like a focus methodology that we have been using a lot. Actually, it's like a central part of the work that German municipalities have been doing with their almost 1,000 municipal cooperation partnerships. The future that I see for peer learning is indeed, as you mentioned, a hybrid future. I think in the future, we're definitely going to look more closely into which activities really need to take place, like with live events and live visits, and which activities can actually happen in the digital space. But I also think there has been definitely a shift, as Serge was saying, when it comes to like which type of tools and also content we use for the peer-to-peer learning. Indeed, this switch that we have been seeing also with the UCLG learning platform has been very much into like creating shorter and more accessible content and like reducing the number of reports that we produce. And we have been experimenting with that quite a lot, creating podcasts and short videos, documenting good practices that can be shared then within our network. When it comes to how we can pull all of this together, of course, that's a bigger challenge. But as I've seen, like the conversation in the chat, there's definitely a lot of willingness to share this knowledge. And I think like going farther in pulling together the experiences and the materials that we have been kind of like bringing together as associations, but also within networks and municipality themselves. I think that's the way to go. And I think like the approach that UCLG is having in terms of cooperation is indeed the right way. When it comes to bringing people together, of course, like the peer-to-peer learning in the digital space probably leaves part of the networking aspects a bit behind, or at least they're not in the focus as it might be just having a nice coffee break, which I think we're all dreaming of in a live event. But I think as this retreat has shown us, there are the tools to make such interaction possible. There are the tools out there, and I think seeing that as UCLG is implemented, that is definitely an inspiration for all of us. Thanks.
Alicia, and yes, as you said, we were doing the briefing for this session on Wonder. So there are tools out there, but as you say, there's also a space for physical peer learning still. And I think moving forward, once the travel restrictions are over, we will need to decide, which kind of peer learnings need that like physical visit, physical travel and interaction, and what can be done without spending those resources and kind of the impact on the environment that has. So very interesting insights. Also kind of playing with different multimedia, podcasts, videos. We were trying to collect a lot of the materials that we have on UCLG TV during this retreat. So very interesting insightfuls that we can work on together. So thank you very much, Helmi and Alicia, for joining us in this last part. And in order to conclude this session, I know we're running pretty late. I'm gonna leave Sarah to take it on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, when we see here you all in the community, for us, with every single angle, we would like really to go deep, to wrap up, to connect. But I think the message is clear. So we want to expand And we want to connect and also have our members connected. And if we want to be informed about this, this is not for control or put ourselves in. Actually, we all the time are saying, okay, the content is your work. We help you on that these methodologies are set up in a way that it's understandable and clear. And I think we can come up to wrap up now our work. We would like to give a last round for those who have raised hands, but I'm a bit afraid I have not seen from here.
Well, yes, we do, but we actually do not have much time. So I suggest you that we give the floor to Charles.
Because we have okay. So we had asked Charles, maybe you can give us a little bit of your insight from 30 years of experience of practitioner in learning in Africa. So what are your insights on this session?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Emilia. Thank you, Sarah. I will try and be very brief, but I just want to say my starting position is that in local government, we must always ensure that we have a focus for what we are attempting to do. The training must have a focus. It must have a clear, specific goal that it must achieve. And this makes the difference between the kind of training that we provide and the general training that is available at universities, colleges. Ours is very much practice focused. So it is important to base our training on proper research, which involves local governments, and studying the way they are operating, the kind of problems that they're encountering, and tailoring our training to address specific issues and specific problems. I think this is the major take. Now, we have discussed in this session various elements concerning the sharing of that knowledge, because you don't produce knowledge for nothing. You produce the knowledge in order to share it to the people that must receive it. So we have discussed during this session various ways in which this knowledge can be shared through training modules, through networking, and also through, more recently, the e-learning platform. In Africa, we have focused a lot on peer learning, the peer review training, where we get leaders, mayors to peer review each other, identifying key problems that they are experiencing, and helping each other develop solutions to those problems. This is important because ultimately, we're not just creating knowledge for nothing, we are creating knowledge for application. And this methodology enables us to ensure that whatever we create in terms of the knowledge is immediately applied in the institution concerned. So this is a key element. I just want to conclude by saying, I cannot summarize everything that has happened during this session, but I want to emphasize that we need more collaboration, we need more partnership, and we need more networking. Thank you very much, Emilia.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, learning team. There are two hands, and you are unstoppable, and you never get tired. And I only give the floor if you promise nobody else leaves this room, so that you can stick with us for the closing remark of an unbelievable week. You never get tired, people. Let's see. We got a colleague from Eurasia that is with us. I will give back the floor to you later, Sarah, of course.
No, I want to make clear.
There, very brief, very, very, very brief. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Tansulu Nuriba. I'm project coordinator of UCLG Eurasia. I wanted to say that the modules developed by UCLG learning team are very informative, are very substantial and useful for future trainers who are supposed to conduct trainings on SDGs for representatives of local administrations. And these modules cover a broad range of issues. And UCLG Eurasia is planning to organize a series of online learning workshops for members of UCLG Eurasia. And the program and content of these workshops will be based on UCLG's modules and will be supplemented by concrete examples of projects and initiatives of Eurasia cities related to localizing SDGs. Also, Secretariat of UCLG Eurasia took part in online trainings, and for example, last December we took part in the training dedicated to resilience. Yes, and we will hold our own workshop also dedicated to resilience. Thank you very much.
Thank you for using our methodology. And what we want EuroAsia to do is to join the Learning with UCLG platform. That's the proposal today. Our proposal is that you join our platforms. And I saw the hand of Helen Jordan from Metropolis. I know the Metropolis station was launched. I would hope we do a better job of linking those up. My hopes are high. Helen. She lost her connection? No, but Octavi is still here. Octavi, we don't want to leave Metropolis out.
No worries. Oh, I'm sorry that Helen is not, she has lost the connection because she's the one in charge of our learning strategy, and together with Mireia Zapata in our team. Very briefly, and as I said, we also have been, we're organizing all the way we do our learning strategy, focusing more on the demands of our membership, always with this focus on metropolitan approaches. And we realized that basically that our learning was very dispersed in many different areas of work of Metropolis, and we have put jointly this station, we call it a station, not platform, where all the issues learning related to metropolitan aspects are there. And of course, this is then we can link it with the UCLG platform, of course, because we see, as I said before in the chat, we offer the metropolitan dish. So in our learning station, you will find the metropolitan dish that is on the menu of UCLG.
So much, Octavia, as you and I were discussing the other day, is not about having only one platform, it's about connecting them. It's the pitch that I gave yesterday. Sarah, 2 sentences. Are you happy about the session? The feedback in the chat has been amazing. You should be satisfied.
Thank you for so much feedback and so much input. We are very excited to take it forward. And sometimes working virtual makes the responses also easy because we have no excuse of travel. And I think it has been a very nice session, but because it is the end of a wonderful retreat, this retreat has been so amazing. We are all really taken away. And I can only gratulate all you who are there and all the time in the chat. We follow you. It's so amazing. We really feel connected.
Thank you. The learning team, how do we feel about the learning team? They rock. Thank you so much, learning team. And now we don't have anything else but really the wrap up of this incredible week. And let me take my notes, because without notes, I'm nobody. We have concrete proposals to go ahead. We've got this new idea of UCLG as platform of platforms, which is totally related to what we have discussed today. We have had diversity. Over 210 cities have participated from 70 countries, with over 620 participants, 3,000, and I don't know how much, Steven, sorry, I forgot again, 3,000 something clicks on UCLG Meets. They are amazing numbers for a network like ours, but we can even do better. We have been in the balconies and the windows of every single section that represents UCLG. They were technical meetings to build up our technical capacity, but actually political leadership was with us until the very, very end. We are diverse, we are powerful. And the only reason that we are that is because we learn, we research, we advocate together. The power of we is very, very